Did Spider-Man literally just get crushed? Stay tuned, we have a lot to talk about. What exactly just happened, and what are players looking at? Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman, thanks again for hanging out today for another video. And yes, we're discussing Spider-Man because the pre-release weekend has just gone by. I've put out the emails, I've gotten information, and it's time to share with you guys what exactly is going on. So, to put it easily, to put it as nicely as I can, Spider-Man got slaughtered, and it's not pretty. Now let's break down the information. You can leave the video if you're not curious. Guys, Spider-Man, the pre-releases were a quarter full, if that. Players complained about how this isn't a real set. It's not a full set. There were Spider-Man fans that were partaking and having a good time. There was a lot going on. But the build-up of negativity you would have expected was not there. This is not about being negative about the product. It's just nobody cared enough to buy it en masse. Nobody cared enough to say, I have to have this. And so many other people were looking at display cases saying, how much are these cards going to cost in just a week's time? This is where we find ourselves with the Spider-Man product. Now, me saying all this to you, it comes across as weird because I'm excited for Spider-Man. I like the look of the cards. I did a couple of YouTube shorts with a couple of packs I opened for myself just to show you guys what I got. And of course, I'm giving away a box this week. But it's just crazy to see that a pre-release that can hold 72 people got 12. That's unusual. Okay, it's not the norm from what we have seen in Magic the Gathering on any of the last 3-4 releases. It's just not the way it's been. There was a lot of people saying, I'm going to go to Spider-Man. I'm going to show up. But you didn't show up. Maybe certain areas got a large turnout of players. But a lot of places got next to nothing. A lot of smaller LGSs got 0. I'm talking 1 or 2 people, which wasn't enough to really run the pre-release. It was... But it's not all negative. Let's talk about what else is going on in the market when it's related to Spider-Man, because a lot of boxes were opened. A lot of product has come to market. And yes, the number one card that everyone is really hunting for is the Soul Stone. But let's take a look a little bit at the data of what's going on. First off, let's take a look at 401 games. You guys know I track the sales a lot here. And they've been as high as $13.99. Then they dropped it to $10.99, then $9.99. And now it's down to $7.99, which puts it where a lot of people thought was already the top end price of this product. But it doesn't end there, you see, because we know on TCG Player, we had a massive movement when Wizards of the Coast finished the spoiler season. A lot of people bailed, orders got canceled, and a whole bunch of players started picking up the slack and buying the boxes, but they're still falling. You can see here, we went from $7.50 all the way down to $627.07. This looks on paper, this looks like it's getting crushed. It's being put in the Star Wars trash compactor. Remember that playset from like the 80s, the Death Star? And it had the little winding thing? That's what it looks like. Everything's just being pushed and crushed into nothing. No value, nobody cares. But that's not what's happening. Okay. Prices falling when a product doesn't do well, that happens all the time. This particular product lineup was not a full-fledged set in terms of what players would have liked to have seen. It doesn't seem as fleshed out, and it's not that the character's not cool, it's that it just wasn't good enough. There's a lot of cool cards in the set, but the Spider-Man motif isn't overall going along with a lot of the Wizards of the Coast fans who are into Standard. That part is pretty evident from what we've seen and the turnout at all those pre-releases. But the sales on singles are pretty robust. There's a lot of people hunting down individual cards, and there's collectors out there picking up that spectacular Spider-Man and hunting down the different variants and variations. That's all happening in the backdrop of what we saw at these pre-releases, okay? The sales we see, by the way, when I showed you that TCG one, look how many sales. Yes, the price is getting crushed, but there's still people buying the cards. There's still people picking this stuff up, buying the sealed boxes and saying, No, no, no. These are going to rebound. These are going to go back up. People just don't see what I see. And a lot of people are believing that. A lot of people are buying it. I cannot say one way or the other, because I've seen both sides of this coin, and it has sometimes worked out in the person who got crushed's favor, and other times it has worked out in the person who held tight. It's worked out on both sides of that coin, and it's a little early to say what's going on. Now, we can look at other sets. You can say Assassin's Creed, March of the Machines Aftermath. We can look at some of those mini sets and see how they played out in the long run. But this is Spider-Man. And the one thing I can tell you is that the other Spider-Man releases, the other Marvel Universe releases, will not be like Spider-Man. Wizards of the Coast may have been too close to the deadline to alter this set much more than they did already. Yeah, they probably should have fleshed out another 100 cards into the set and made it a lot bigger and juicier. They didn't have time, probably, based on what they thought was going to happen. And they had to stick to their guns and go through this and say, yep, it is what it is. It just ended up this way. And that's fine. That stuff happens. But that means that although it looks like it's getting crushed and compacted down, people are still buying and saving 30-40% what this box price was for a collector box, 3-4 weeks ago. Okay, we've saved that much money now. How much lower can it go? How much more can the shrinkage happen before it starts to reinflate, which is what commonly happens when you get too much of a crush on these products. You see things go down too low and you see them come back. We know the prices are already being lowered at many stores. We also know there's other stores, which I'm not going to show the images, but like places like Face to Face have like 80 boxes in stock. They're carrying a lot of the product and they're still at $10.49 a box. Well, when you see another store that's $350 lower than you, you're going to alter your price. You're going to have to, or you're not going to sell a single box, and the other store is going to look that much more juicy. That's going to happen at the local playing level, not with individual LGSs saying, hey, we got to clear these boxes out, because those stores are not getting burned. It's the bigger LGSs who tried to capitalize. They're the ones who are going to feel the pain. Most small stores I know, they actually sold out. Yeah, they've got pre-release kits hanging around. They've got a couple of play booster boxes for their draft nights and stuff. And yes, they have collector packs in stock, and the individual packs are selling each and every day. They're still selling it at, what in Canada it's about, $50-$60 a pack? They're still selling each and every day with no problem, okay? That's not the problem for the people who have 50-60 boxes in their inventory. The small stores are not carrying that kind of product line. They're not carrying that kind of debt inventory, sitting there saying, if we don't sell, we're going to lose everything. That's not happening. That's not where the market is. So although on paper this looks like things just got crushed, brutalized, and in some cases it definitely feels that way, we don't really know how this product's going to lay itself out in the long run. These are the early days of a product that's very different from what we've seen from things like Final Fantasy. It has a different feel. It has some good cards that are going to be sought after. And let's face it, if it's any card out there, it's going to be the Soul Stone that reinflates this product later down the line. There's other great cards in the set, but it's the Soul Stone that will carry the day, especially if it doesn't get a reprinting. Then you'll see those play booster boxes, the bundle packs, and of course the collector boxes really raise themselves up in the next couple of years. So don't underestimate Spider-Man. Just be aware of what the market's doing, what's going to happen, and the likely outcome. The end result that you're expecting is not going to stay what you think it is unless you're thinking it's going to go up in price, because it still will. I still think this is all going to recuperate and be fine. It just looks really bad right now, which means people have opportunity, which is why all those boxes are selling right now. It's crazy. I want to know what you guys think. Pardon me. How did your pre-release go? What cards did you open? If you get any cool ones, send some photos. I'd love to see. Flex on it. And of course, how do you feel now that you've actually been there and seen the packs? Because it didn't really work out the way I thought, although I got some interesting cards. You can look at my my YouTube shorts. I did 3 videos for the 3 packs I opened, and there was some good stuff in there, so take a look. But it's crazy to see where this market's going to end up in the long run that I think people are underestimating. Thanks again for hanging out. Thanks for being here with the Moxman. And don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow with another video. It's hard to believe. We're here at the end of the video already? Like, look at these amazing people supporting the channel. These are the patrons, man. These are the patrons and YouTube membership members of the channel. Without them, this just wouldn't be here. It wouldn't be happening. It'd be like a fair with no Ferris wheel. I don't know why I'm panicking. Don't worry. Everything's okay. Come on, relax, Mox, man. We're going to be back tomorrow. There's always another video. Well, apparently we have just worked things out, and it's all awesome. Welcome back to the Ramble Jamble. I mean, Spider-Man became what Spider-Man was going to become. It is what it is, and it can't be changed. This is crazy to me. Even I paid more than that for a box. And we see them just floating down in price. And that's great. That is amazing for people. I mean, if I jump this over here, we're here at the end of the Ramble Shamble. It's too late to go back now. $629.99, right, for US price times 1.40 times 1.13. The US price would still be $9.96 a box after the import and taxes here in Canada. But here in Canada, $7.99, right? Just $7.99 times 1.13 for tax is $9.03. Like, we're getting there, man. We are getting there. I think they're actually going to drop a little bit more. I think we got room to go. And I just sit there and go, somebody's going to make a lot of money on this. It's not going to be me, but somebody's going to do it. Somebody's taking a hurting right now. Definitely. But other people, they're going to come out on this one. They're going to come out. It's a soul stone, baby. Pay attention. All right, guys. Thanks again. See you soon. We'll wrap this one up. But don't worry, this Ramble Jamble, it's every day. Can't shake the ramble and the jamble.